Mike was leaving a parking lot and traveling at around 10 miles per hour when a Mazda driver turning into a gas station collided with the side of his Tesla Model 3. During the impact, the glass on the driver's door shattered, sending shards of glass throughout the cabin and hitting both Mike and his girlfriend.
Damn it! No!
Although they weren't seriously injured, both Mike and his girlfriend experienced hearing issues after the crash, and Mike's girlfriend suffered neck pains for several months. The driver of the Mazda was underage and underinsured. The police were called, and they arrived quickly at the scene of the accident. Since the Mazda driver's insurance only covered $10,000, Mike's insurance ended up covering the rest of the totaled car's value of $60,000. Mike found it ironic that a Mazda crashed into a Tesla with a vanity plate that reads, "What's gas?" while turning into a gas station. Jared was parked on the street while at work because there was no available parking at the hospital. A kid approached Jared's car and attempted to rip off the door handle after checking his surroundings. When unsuccessful, the kid punched the car door, setting off the alarm. Jared believes, based on his medical expertise, that the kid hurt his fist and that the pain was well-deserved. Chris was at work when he received a notification on his phone that his car alarm had been triggered. He ran outside to see what was going on and realized that he'd accidentally left his GoPro running inside the car. Let's take a look at what happened. The incident was observed by Sentry Mode, the GoPro, and over 20 witnesses. The repair bill came to over $2,500 and it took a few weeks before Chris got his car back. Jen was driving home from work when a black Suburban moved to the right and made a U-turn right in front of her. Jen slammed on the brakes and barely missed the Suburban. The driver of the Suburban was smiling and looking back as they pulled away. Jen's quick reflexes prevented a collision. Nice save! Dinah was driving home from her gym in Anaheim Hills, California when another driver ran a red light and crashed into the car in front of her. Dinah immediately shared her footage with the responding officer and collected the email addresses of both involved drivers. Later that night, she sent the footage to them both for their insurance claims. Both drivers were thankful for the video and informed her that nobody had been seriously injured. Kevin was turning left near a blind curve at the bottom of a hill when a white Honda came speeding around the corner and pulled up behind him. The Honda driver must have been impatient because he illegally passed Kevin in the turning lane, failing to notice a pedestrian island. When the Honda hit the island, the car briefly went airborne, scraped the undercarriage, and nearly hit an oncoming car. Afterward, the driver continued to pass Kevin using oncoming lanes. Is this our first Honda jump? Kyle was following a school bus when one of the kids threw a plastic bottle at an oncoming car. Nice bottle flip. Anuj was driving through a snowstorm along I-80 after a day of skiing when a white Tesla Model 3 spun out of control and hit the divider in the snow. Anuj stopped to check on the driver, who was okay but shaken up. Anuj sent along a shout-out for his 10-year-old son Jay, a big Wham Bam fan. This submitter was on his way to work. As he passed Holloman Air Force Base, he witnessed F-16 pilots returning from a training mission. Our submitter's timing was perfect for capturing the planes on their final approach. Before Eric purchased his Tesla, he owned a Mustang GT that was scratched twice, resulting in over $1,000 in damage. Well, it's happened again. Someone put a knife into the tire of his brand new Model Y. He had to pay over $300 for a new tire, an expense he wasn't prepared for since he's getting married this year. Eric contacted the police, but the case was closed after they determined they couldn't tell who the perpetrator was. Eric has been trying to find the person himself by asking his neighbors and keeping an eye out for them. Herman was heading to work in Santa Ana, California when he noticed a Mercedes behind him that was having difficulty maintaining a safe distance. He feared being rear-ended. When traffic came to a stop, the Mercedes didn't. Thankfully, Herman had been expecting this and had braced himself for impact. The other driver took full responsibility, and Herman filed a claim through his insurance. It took 2 weeks to get his car back, and the entire trunk had to be replaced. Herman told us the sound of the grill falling apart reminded him of the sound of breaking Lego bricks in the Lego video games. A couple of episodes ago, we showed you a clip of a parked Tesla that slid down a driveway. Since then, Max reached out to tell us this happened to him as well. Max sent us footage from his Teslacam as well as from his porch and driveway cameras at his dad's house. In the video, we can see him drive up and park in the driveway. Max explained that Teslas don't lock the front wheels with electric parking brakes. Instead, they use normal hydraulic brakes to stop the front wheels for a while until the car is determined to be unoccupied or a certain amount of time has passed. The car then releases the brakes of the front wheels. Max tried to reach out to Tesla about the issue, but ended up with an at-fault insurance claim since it had hit his brother's car even though nobody was driving. The scary part was that his son was seconds from getting out and was nearly run over by the car. He had opened the door and was stepping out when he felt it move. He was smart and quick enough to jump backward and pull the door shut. Max told us he doesn't park his Tesla on anything remotely slick or sloped anymore and feels that this is quite an oversight on Tesla's part. What a perfect opportunity to promote our new channel, Wham Bam Security Cam, featuring all sorts of videos captured by security cameras. Don't miss it. Petter was driving to visit his parents when he encountered a flying trailer. Hold on, that's 2 flying trailers. Luckily, he was able to stop, but he says he also felt the car helping him to brake. He isn't sure who saved the day. 5 men got out of the van to collect the trailers, so Petter continued on his drive. This submitter witnessed a rather strange crash. A BMW M5 driver made an illegal left turn into an SUV that was illegally driving straight from the left turn lane. The BMW driver then took off, making it a hit and run. The submitter says he wasn't surprised as he'd noticed the BMW driver behaving erratically before this. This Model Y owner was driving in Charlestown, West Virginia. He was behind a school bus when they approached an intersection. There was no traffic coming from the right when the school bus passed. Take note of that, it'll be important later. When the light turned green, an SUV appeared from the right and got behind the school bus. Then the driver sped up and matched the speed of the school bus. We have no idea if there was any interaction between the drivers or any of the kids on the bus. What happened next was the driver of the SUV cutting off the school bus and brake checking it. Who brake checks a school bus full of kids? The submitter was as baffled as we are. As soon as he arrived at his destination, he uploaded this footage to the police department. Winds were strong as the passenger of a Mercedes parked next to Sean's Tesla opened their door but lost control of it. The heavy door of the SUV slammed into Sean's Model 3. Neither the driver nor the passenger left a note for Sean before leaving the scene. Sean is currently waiting for a quote from Tesla to repair the damage. Once he finds out how much repairs will cost, he'll decide whether to file an insurance claim, file a police report, or pay for the repairs himself. Roop's Sentry Mode videos start with a Toyota driver running over a curb and hitting the back end of his Tesla. The Toyota driver then got out of the car, looked around to see if anyone was watching, and then drove off, committing a hit and run. Won't he be surprised when he discovers that the Sentry Mode cameras filmed the incident, and now there are a few people watching here on the Wham Bam channel. Roop filed a police report, and the cops reviewed the Sentry Mode video footage. The police told Roop the case was open and shut, as the video clearly shows the individual's face, which helped them identify him using the photo from his driver's license. The Toyota driver's insurance provider will cover the entire repair cost of $6,000 US. Tim was driving down a highway and the vehicle ahead of him was driving slowly with the hazard lights on. Suddenly, the front driver's wheel came off and the car started scraping along the ground. Tim pulled over behind the vehicle, but then parts and sparks started flying everywhere. He moved back into the lanes before the wheel flew off. Tim had to play a real-life game of Mario Kart to avoid everything that was happening. Teslacam was driving on a highway in Dallas, Texas with autopilot engaged when a VW driver nearly merged into their Model 3. Teslacam swerved to avoid a collision, nearly colliding with another vehicle in the left lane. The VW driver needlessly switched lanes quickly before exiting. Thankfully, Teslacam's Tesla wasn't damaged. We can tell it's brand new, as evidenced by the temporary paper license plate. Matt was in a McDonald's drive-thru when someone swerved around him to throw away trash but missed entirely and sped off, too embarrassed or lazy to pick it up. The way he looked at Matt before tossing the trash gave Matt the impression he was gonna make it. This is disappointing on multiple levels. Brandon and his girlfriend Autumn were driving toward Fort Wayne when they saw a massive streak of white light in the sky explode and turn into a green ball of light before it dissipated into the night sky. After seeing this, they turned to each other, staring deeply into each other's eyes, and slowly said in unison, "Subscribe to Wham Bam Teslacam." Now that was intense. What more is there to say? You'd better subscribe. Subscribe to Wham Bam Teslacam.